Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into a really fascinating piece of human psychology, one that can totally change the way you communicate. I mean, just think about that for a second. One single short phrase that has been scientifically proven to dramatically increase the chances of someone saying yes to you. It kind of sounds like a superpower, right? Well, it's very, very real.
And by the end of this explainer, you're going to understand exactly what this principle is, why it's so effective, and most importantly, how you can start using it. Ethically, of course. So let's get into it.
Okay, so to really get a handle on our magic phrase, we first have to talk about something that's hardwired into all of us, this fundamental need to be consistent. This one is a really big deal. We all have this deep internal drive to make our actions line up with things we've already said or done, you know? Once we make a choice, especially if we say it out loud, we feel this immense pressure, both from ourselves and from others, to stick with it. And that's exactly why it's a secret weapon. If you can get someone to agree to a tiny initial commitment, their own brain, their own need for consistency, makes them way more likely to say yes to bigger, related things down the line. So the big question is, how do you get that first yes?
And that, my friends, leads us to the key, this simple, almost ridiculously effective phrase that unlocks this whole thing. It's called the "but you are free" effect.
This is the entire secret, right here on this slide. It's so simple. Instead of making a request that feels like you're telling someone what to do, you flip the script. You frame it as their choice. You're explicitly reminding them, hey, you're in the driver's seat. You get that first yes, not by pushing, but by taking all the pressure away. And get this, the data is absolutely striking. Researchers have tested this over and over. A standard request gets a certain amount of people to agree. But when they just add a little phrase at the end, something like, but you are totally free to refuse, the compliance rate can literally double. This isn't just a cool theory, it's a proven, measurable effect. So the power here really comes from a few key things. It hammers home that feeling of freedom, which immediately lowers our guard, our natural resistance to being told what to do. It taps right into that deep human need we all have for self-determination. And the crazy part? Even though it's so subtle, the impact is huge, and it works pretty much everywhere. Face-to-face, over the phone, even in an email.
Okay, so we know it works. But why? Why is it so powerful? To understand that, we need to talk about a counterforce, something this technique brilliantly avoids.
You know that feeling, right? Someone pushes you just a little too hard to do something, and you immediately want to dig your heels in and do the exact opposite, just because. Well, that's a real thing. It's called psychological reactance. It's like our brain's built-in alarm system against being controlled or having our freedom taken away. A direct order instantly sets off that alarm. And this really shows the difference. On one side, you have forced compliance. It feels like a demand, it triggers that resistance alarm we just talked about, and it basically kills any chance of real cooperation. But on the other side, when it's voluntary, it feels like a choice. It preserves our sense of control and actually makes us want to cooperate. So at the end of the day, the "but you are free" technique works because it gracefully sidesteps that psychological reactance alarm. By saying, hey, you're in control, it sends a signal to our brain that says, no threat here, all good. And once we willingly say yes to that initial invitation, our own need for consistency kicks right in, making us want to stick with our choice. You've bypassed the alarm and activated the consistency drive, all in one smooth move. All right, theory is great, but let's get practical. How can you take this powerful insight and actually apply it, like today?
It really boils down to 3 simple steps. First, just take a look at your calls to action, in your emails, on your website, even how you ask for things in person. Are they commands? Are they invitations? Second, make it really clear that the decision is theirs. And third, use phrases that directly emphasize their freedom, like, of course, it's totally up to you, or the classic, but you are free to choose.
This is the ultimate goal. You're trying to shift your whole mindset. You're not pushing someone to a decision, you are inviting them to make one for themselves. It's a really subtle shift in perspective, but it can change absolutely everything.
Now this is super important. A tool this powerful has to be used ethically. The goal isn't manipulation, it's genuine connection. It's about building trust by starting with small, low-pressure requests and always,
always guiding, never forcing. When you truly respect the other person's freedom, this technique becomes a way to build stronger, more authentic relationships.
And that leaves us with a final thought. This isn't just some sales gimmick. It's a tool for better, more respectful communication in every part of your life. It's about honoring other people's freedom while still making your case effectively. So the question to you is, how will you use this knowledge to foster more cooperation and build stronger connections? To invite, not to push.